All right, guys, good morning. Today we're going to tear down a 912. The motor was inside a 356. Don't know anything about the motor, just that we just got it, and we're going to be rebuilding it for a customer pretty far away. So anyways, let's do a teardown video. I'll talk about the motor for a little bit. We'll tear it down. I'll do some stills of what I tear down, and we'll talk about it after. I'm not going to start turning wrenches and letting you watch that kind of stuff. You guys all know how to turn wrenches, but let's see what we got going inside. The motor does rotate. Let's check it out. So it's an early motor. You can see by the numbers right there. Okay, that is the front cover that has that number, and the inside number is right there, which is a, oh, let's get that, we lost it. Okay, sorry about that. There it is. It's a 616-36. Okay, that's 912. Now, the other way to tell if it's 912 is by these bolts right here. This one and this one are in a flat 356. That bolt sits way back here. So this is the 912, which is very cool. It does have Weber intake manifolds on it. You can see it's got the 35610 on it. We're going to ditch that. It's got the 912 boxes. It does have a tachometer mechanical, so we'll get rid of that. Put the regular 912 cover on there. It's got an 18 distributor. I'm gonna get rid of that. We're gonna put a 1-2-3 distributor on these, is what I really like to run on this. We're gonna run 86 millimeter piston cylinders. On these manifolds, they're Weber conversion manifolds. The problem with these is it's very hard to get to the spark plug once they're on. So the best way to go with this is a Solex intake with a Weber adapter plate, if you're going to go with Webers. I'm not sure how we're going to go on this motor yet. And as you can see, it's got a 6-volt flywheel on it. Okay, like I said, this motor does rotate. It's got the 912 heat risers there. Doesn't have the horn like the 356, so they kept those on there. So this is gonna be a fun motor to tear apart. We know nothing about it. It's always kind of fun to do that. Look, you can see automatically, you guys that are pretty sharp, got VW pulleys on it. See how they're flat? That's another thing that's kind of weird. So what we do is we're gonna tear it down. All my plating, the hardware is gonna get CAD plated, goes in here. And then this will be for my valve train and all the other oily parts that comes apart. And then I have another box where all the sheet metal, everything that's going to get powder coated in black, all that goes into a different box. And I will show you that when we're wrapped up, tearing this thing down. So anyhow, so I'm going to get busy. We're going to continue on that. And just to let you know, I've been very busy in the garage. This is Sean's 911E. We just did a video on this. This is a 2.5 90 millimeter barrels, real RS piston cylinder set. Of course, we updated the tensioners. This has a set of Solex cams in it that webcam made for us. Faith over there does a beautiful job on her cams. So that's what we got going on. Okay, and these cylinders are brand new. And Sean has done a very, very good part on purchasing these parts and locating them, and believe me, that's not easy stuff to find. So that's going to be a dynamite motor. And this is MFI, and Gus up at Pacific has our fuel pump, our MFI pump. That's getting done now. Okay, so that's that one. Now this red Carrera up here, this is the motor for it. We do the top end on it. I just got to set the chain boxes, do the cams on it, and that one's be ready to go soon. I got everything powder coated for that and plated. That's the plate box for this car. And then over here is the intakes and the covers there, the intake manifold. This is going really well also. This is going to be a really hot car when we're wrapped up with that one. And then also a local motor here in Lake Havasu. a 912. This motor is just about done. I just got to put the upper sheet metal on it, and that one's ready to go too. And this one's already 86 millimeter piston cylinders. I ran a stock 912 cam in it. It had some hot rod cam, and I really not into the hot rod cams in these little motors. If you want to go to, I just don't care for them. They don't idle right, and it seems like something's wrong. So I stay with the 912 cam in there. The oil cooler was done. I mean, this is a really nice build here too. So that one we're gonna wrap up, and we got another 3-liter here we'll be doing. That's just gonna be at a top end, so that needs to get cleaned up. So that's what it is. Oh, here you go. This is the intake manifolds for that motor. And this is a Solex manifold with a Weber adapter. This is the way to go if you're running Webers. This way you can get to the spark plugs. That's a good example there. Okay, all right, awesome. So I will start tearing this thing down, and I'll do some still pictures of it, and I'll produce a little video of the process of it, and also so the owner can check out what we got going on in there. And then we'll make a plan build and go forward with it. All right, check you in a little bit. Full floating oil cooler. Very cool. That keeps that ear here from cracking. Full floater. Very cool. All right, guys, so we got it all torn down. The 912's all apart. Not good news, not horrible news. The case is not damaged. The crank is bad. I won't reuse it. It spun a rod, and they drove it for a little too long. It didn't throw a rod, which was lucky, but did ruin the crank. And the rod can be, it can be rebuilt, but I just soon get rid of it. It got really hot. So, anyways, check it out. Also, you see all the pictures I'm putting out there, but here, take a look at it. So, there's our crank. That is the rod bearing. This is what it's supposed to look like. And this is a standard. And this is what the rod bearing looks like that we found. And it got pretty hot. And you can see, here's the other half. It got so hot, it is trying to squeeze out of there. So that's the bearing. This is all the stuff that was at the bottom of the case. The cam followers, they were loaded up with that stuff. That metal was everywhere. And so the crank, it's hard to say what happened. This motor was rebuilt. I don't think it had very much time on it. I think what happened is there was probably a pit, a mark on there, something on this journal that was creating heat. And I believe that's why it spun it. That's what I'm guessing. The motor was put together with a bunch of silicones. You'll see that in the pictures. Here's the other rods. As you can see, the rods don't, actually the bushings don't have very much time on them at all. Look at that. See, you can see all the hash marks in there from when they cut it, and they're new. So that's why I'm saying I don't think this had very much time on it. Probably had a problem when it went together, is my guess. And it was put together with silicone. We don't use silicone. They're not supposed to, but you can't get away from it. My guess is it was at a VW shop getting rebuilt. That stuff was it was globbed up on everything, unfortunately. The piston cylinders are 86 millimeters already. We're gonna do another set of those, but a new set. That's all the tinware going to powder coating. That'll all go to powder coating. The generator is the small one because it's an early motor. I'm going to take that apart, send those pieces out for powder coating, and that should be. They might have converted it, or they might have put a 6-volt on there. So we need a 12-volt. So we'll see how we address that. Here's the case. The case, no damage, just the rod and the crank is the damage. The case looks good. I'll send that out. We'll get that over to Ollie's. They'll line bore it, check it for everything it needs to be checked out for, and then we'll get another crank. Fortunately, I do have another crank. We'll size it up and get the correct bearings. All the bearings in here were they were all standard bearings. Here's the heads. You see pictures of the heads I put out there. Heads had good seals on everything. There was no issues there. One cylinder was pretty oily, but that is a cylinder that was spun the rod. So that piston was just bouncing all over. The rod barely moved on the crank. So anyhow, all right, well, that's what's going on here. We're going to get all this stuff over to Ollie's, have them go through it, and then I'll get the other crank out. We'll take it out there and get it sized up, get the correct bearings, and rebuild this motor. And meanwhile, everything will get out. The powder coating will get out, and then my pan here of all the gold cat plating, we'll send that out, get that done, and there you go. So that's what happened today. Not bad. So anyways, that's the teardown of the 912, and of the camshaft. It's got I don't know what this is. It says RO2005. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look into that, but most likely I'm ditching that. Gonna put a 912 cam in it. I don't want anything fancy. Doesn't need it. Anyways, there you go. Okay, guys, thanks for watching this. This was a lot of fun to do. If you have a motor and you want to do a rebuild, tear it down. It's not that hard. I just don't need to spend a lot of time on your time watching videos, taking stuff apart. But all the steel pictures I got, you'll see the process, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right, guys. Have a nice evening.